Hope the screen is visible for you guys, correct? Let me start the server. Okay. Can you guys please let me know if you guys have any questions or confusions on the previous session which we discussed about the containerizations, Docker image, and Docker file creation on that? If nothing, then we'll discuss about Docker Compose. So today's agenda will be what are the things we are going to discuss means Docker Compose. Using Docker Compose, we are going to do one project, then Docker network, then Docker events. This is the three concepts left out with the Docker. Those will be completing today so that we can start Jenkins and next class, tomorrow class I meant to say. Okay, so what is Docker Compose? Nothing but so far we discussed about Docker images and Docker containers, right? So Docker containers generally will use for single container. Generally, only one container we can create and one container we can able to manage. But when you want to talk to multiple containers, like container A, container B, both are different. Then you want to interact means Docker containers are won't like effective to communicate each other. Such a way, if at all you want to communicate with each other on multiple containers, then Docker Compose will come into picture. Docker Compose also having a some file. That's a docker-compose.yml file. This we used to write a code in the YAML file. Okay, this is a YAML language generally. Okay. Compose is a tool for defining and running multi-container Docker applications. With Compose, you use a YAML file to configure your application services. So then with a single command, you can start on all the services and configurations. We can use Compose in three-step process. Define the application environment with a Docker file so it can reproduce it anywhere. Define the services that makes up your app in docker-compose.yml. Run Docker Compose space up on the entire application. Okay, so for these purposes we can able to use this one. Okay, how to install the Docker Compose? Nothing but in the last class already we installed the Docker Compose. We have some predefined commands will be there. We can make use those commands and we can able to do that. So start working with the Docker Compose. You will need to install it. Below is the URL which we'll use to install that. Like this. This is a link where we can able to use this link to get that. Then you can also run the below instructions to install the Compose on your machine. So some sudo curl command can be used to get the details. So if we use curl command we're going to give the result. So this will going to download the required version of the Docker Compose from the GitHub. Then we have the sudo chmod plus x command. This will use to give the execute permission to the Docker Compose folder. ln-s command will use to link the file. Then docker-compose space --- version command will use to check the version. Okay, so first we need to write a compose file. I already wrote the compose file. I'm gonna share that compose file with you guys, and also I'm going to explain that. This is the code. This YAML code. You guys can see version is the first keyword. Then later that we'll be defining some services. I'm trying to define two services. One is MySQL, another one is WordPress. These are the two different services you can assume. Each service is a database you can consume. Assume that MySQL is one container and WordPress is another container. So you can look at db colon. I'm trying to get the db image colon MySQL 5.7 is the image I'm using. Then volumes, I can able to mount this is the volume. This is the default directory for the MySQL. Restart always. Then environment variables, I'm passing some details here like root password, database user password, like that. But this values can be changed also. It's up to you. Okay. Right now, this is the actual values. Even if you don't want from here means we can wrote these things in the configuration file. From there also we can able to restore that. Then below one is a container ones. I mean WordPress container one. So there WordPress image will be taking depends upon. That means WordPress wants to work means DB is required. That's the reason we'll be recalling the DB. Depends upon -db mentioned. -db is defined in the above. Then port 808080 restart always. Then this is the environment variables we passed like host user password. Then at the last volumes will be mounting to db underscore data. This is the default directory for this particular one. Now after we save the changes, next we can run this command docker compose config. That means when you do docker compose config, right? If it is showing the output, then that means it's working fine. That means the code what we written, right, that is correct. If it's showing any error, that's the problem. Then docker compose down. In case you already created the resources means you want to delete those resources means we'll use the command called compose down command. Down means stop the containers and removes the containers, networks, volumes, images and created by the up command. Up command will use for creating. Down command will use for removing. Make sure. Then events. In case while creating you want to see the events, docker compose events command can be used to see the events. Docker compose exec command, you can run the commands on the services like docker compose exec web sh, like that. Docker compose help, display the help and usage instructions for a command. Docker compose help command can be used. Then docker-compose logs, displays logs output from the services. Docker-compose space logs. Docker compose ps command can be used to list the containers. Then top command will use running the process. So right now I'm gonna show that how to execute this one. I'm gonna show one project, guys. That project is using Docker compose creating a WordPress website. Okay. So the command nyhp nohub docker-compose is up up space ampersand. You need to enter the button 2 times. If you run this one in the background, the service, all the things are running. How to check? Tile space -f. See, it's going on extracting the things. You can do Control C. All the extraction done means docker-compose space ls ps. PS will going to show the containers. Docker compose images will going to show the images. Able to see two things are there. Okay, image is also registered done. Now we can take the public IP curl if config.me. We can take the public IP here. This is a public IP. I'll go to incognito window. I can copy the public IP. The public IP address colon 8080. Like this, the page will appear, guys. Then continue. Here, I'm going to give some details. I'll just give WordPress site username admin, username WordPress, password also WordPress. Confirm weak password. You can put some email address. Let's crash install. Login, username WordPress, password also WordPress. Where do we define these passwords means? It was there in the code only. This is the WordPress admin console. Majority of the websites and blogs are created from this particular site only. Now I'm going to show how to create the post or page. Add a new post. So I'll do one thing. I'll copy from internet some content and I'll copy paste that. Like this, I can put the title and I can straight away copy paste the data as well from here. Like this, we can write this, but I'm just copy pasting that. Like this. I can submit this, publish this. Before that, I will save this. Then you guys can see here, view, desktop, if you open how it looks like, tablet how it looks like, mobile phone how it looks like. That's the three values are there. Then post that. So we have a publish option is there. I'll publish. Now you guys can use this URL. This is the web page. I'll paste for you guys. Just do one favor for me. Try to access this website and let me know the same page is getting up or not. The page which I hosted, the page is getting up or not. Just let me know. Click on this URL just.
Yes, sir.
The page is loading. Same output is getting up for you guys, correct? The engine is installation one. But is it a mobile view is getting up or is it laptop view? Because
Top view, sir.
desktop view only, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That means in the full view is getting up, correct? So like this, generally people will host the page. Okay. Any questions?
So whatever we hosted, it will be available only till that server is running, right?
Server is active, this container is active, this particular WordPress is active. If I delete this now, right, then it will
Mm.
be cleared up. For example, if I go here, docker hyphen compose DOWN down. If I run this command, right, then things will be goes wrong. See, it went out. Now, if you guys refresh the page, right, nothing will be loading. So you can see this page can't be reached. Is getting up now. Hmm. This site can't be reached. Got it? That's about the project with WordPress. Like this, many commands can be used. Then the next one is Docker networks. Another important concept in this will be Docker networks. Docker includes support for networking containers through the use of network drivers. By default, Docker provides three network drivers for you: the bridge, host, and non-network. That's the three types of networks are there. So every installation of the Docker engine automatically includes these three default network drives. You can list out the network drive by running the command called docker network ls. So if I run the command called docker network ls, see, able to see guys, three drivers are there: host, bridge, host, none. These are the three network drivers are there. Out of that, the famous one will be bridge only. You can list, okay, the network named bridge is a special purpose network unless you tell it. Otherwise, Docker always launches your containers in this network only. Then what is this? There are five network drivers are there. Oh, three are popular, three are the default, but total five are there. Okay, we will discuss what are those and what is the significance of those as well. Bridge network, if you see, this is the default network driver. If you have it, if you don't specify a driver, this is the type of network you are creating. Bridge network are usually used when your applications run in the standalone containers. So that's need to be communicated. That's the bridge network. You can treat like a bridge nothing but you are creating and will be like for example, two things you want to discuss. I mean, two things you want to communicate each other from one place to another place. That place, the bridge network will be needed. Then host network. So host network for standalone containers removes the network isolation between the containers and the Docker host and the uses the host network directly. Host network nothing but Docker server and container both will have the same network. That is called as a host network. None network disables all the networking for containers, usually used in conjunction with the custom network driver. Overlay network connect multiple Docker daemons together and enable Swarm services to communicate with each other services. MAC VLAN network. MAC VLAN network allows you to assign a MAC address, media access control address to a container, making it appear as physical device on your network. The Docker daemon routes traffic containers by their MAC address. That means these are the five types of network are there. How to create and how to use that nothing but so like this the commands will be there. You guys can practice, is not that much important, so I'm not covering anything on this side. Okay, but remembering the type is important guys. You just need to remember the types. So what are the types of dockers are there, right? Those networks are there, those you need to remember. For example, I said, right, bridge network, host network, none network, overlay network, MAC VLAN network. This is the five types are there. But what are the default things means the first three are the default things. Bridge, host, none are the very important things which are available in the market. Okay. Hmm. You can see this Docker network ls will do. It will show to go the network. Then you can create two containers and do the ls, and later we can able to do ping. When you ping container one and container two, right? It should able to pingable without any issues. then only we can contain that this both the things are will be in the same network. We can conclude that both are there in the same network. There is a bridge network. Okay. For example,
no need of these practicals.
I'll show for bridge remainings are not required.
Okay.
Docker run minus dit hyphen name alpine. This one container created, then alpine 2 another container. Alpine 1, Alpine 2, what are these means? These are simple containers, small containers. Like Ubuntu, Debian, like that, if I take, this is the big containers, correct? Similarly, Alpine are the small containers for the operating system. So next what we can do means, now both are running. Alpine 1, this is the Alpine 1. First I'll check that this command, Docker network inspect bridge. Able to see here, Alpine 2, this is the IP address. Alpine 1, this is the IP address. 17.02, 17.0.3. This is the two IPs. So what I'll do means, first I'll log into Docker attach Alpine 1. I log into Alpine 1. Now I'm in 1. I'll ping this IP, 2 IP. It should be pingable. See, pingable nothing but they're getting the response. Control C. Similarly, Control PQ I'll do. Now I'll log into Alpine 2. Now I'll ping Alpine 1. This is for 2, right? This is the one I'll try to ping. This also should get the response. Getting the response. Control PQ. Okay, that means bridge network. Look at that. So even Google.com also we can check. Both are same only. That means it's Google.com. Checking the Google.com. That's it.
So here, what we are concluding exactly, like
Nothing but look at this is container 1.
hmm.
This is container 2. Where is it? This one. 1703 is there, right? 03 means container 2. 2 means this is a container 1. Okay. One container you are logging and you'll be pinging the another container. Then vice versa. Another container you are logging, pinging this one. Just assume that. What is the purpose of this able bridge? Bridge will
Connectivity.
connect two different ends. Correct. Bridge will going to connect two different ends. Here also we're doing the same thing, right? Alpine 1 is one container end. Alpine 2 is another container end. Both we're trying to connect via network. It's able to connect. How did you judge that? Via ping command you judge that. When you ping the response, right? When you ping the IP address, right? If both are communicatable means then only ping will work. So I pinged that. It's working, right? We're getting the response. While you ping that, but response is not getting. That means it's not communicatable. Got it? That's the significance of this networking. Okay. Assume that another simple example I'll give you. You're trying to call me in the WhatsApp. You are trying to call me in the WhatsApp to me. I didn't connected internet connectivity. Then can I able to pick up your call and can I able to interact with you?
No.
No. What is significance here? Internet.
Connectivity.
Internet is a mediator for you and me.
Hmm.
Correct. mobile also there, app also there. I am also there, you are also there. But still I could not able to interact with you. Why? Because the main thing is missing. The main thing is internet.
So here, what is that main thing which is connecting?
That is bridge network.
Okay.
Okay. The meaning, the use case of the bridge network is connecting two different networks and communicating with each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Connecting two different networks or containers.
Containers,
Okay.
but they
Okay.
run the same network.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Similar way, host network also there. So you guys can see in this command, -rm we are using. -rm means it is going to remove the network and it will be directly attaching the host network. And the container will be creating as a my nginx. That means if we can think here in the my here, what is that? Look at guys. Before I run this command, I mean root at the rate of Docker server. Correct? After I run this command, I was in different place. Correct? That means I'm inside the container now. That means Docker server network is different, container network is different. Correct? But when it comes to host network, right? Docker container things will be different and here the things will be different. That means both will be maintained same. That means Docker server network and the container network both will make same. That's the reason we'll be using as a host network. Host means what is host here? Docker server is a host, right? In the Docker server, what network is there? Same thing will be copied to the container also. That is a host network. Look at, you can have only one host network. You cannot create a custom host network. This then overlay network, Macquarie network. Those are not useful right now. We're not using that all. Then another important one is Docker events. Docker events gets your real-time events from the server. Following are the some of the options that you can use with the Docker containers, Docker events. Like -f filter output based on the provided information, -f format output using the given Go template. Like this, many things will come into picture. Since show all the events created in this timestamp. Then until stream the events until this timestamp. Like this, multiple things are there. Okay. Like this, Docker events command, when I run this will going to stream the events. Right now there is no events. Okay, I think uh, I'll continue this on the next class because I have one meeting now. Okay, we'll continue on tomorrow class. This will be the events and those will complete tomorrow, and we'll start Jenkins tomorrow class only.
Okay. Thank you so much.
So much.